It's showtime. That's what it says in the corner when we go live. It says it's showtime. So I'm just saying, hi, it's showtime.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's the Our Turf Football Podcast. You're joined by myself, Mom23RN, aka Sonia. To my left, this way. I've got Cleveland Kate on the ones and twos. And right now, I think, are we on the nice list or are we on the naughty list right now?
We're on the nice list.
Okay, cool.
I'll let you know if things get naughty.
If we get naughty, she's going to change that to the nice list. It's going to be kind of fun to see. Lisa's in internet reboot cycle, so hopefully she'll be joining us very, very soon. So, we're looking forward to another great evening. But first, we always have to shout out our friends and yours, Donkeys. Donkeys Place, home of the best cheesesteaks. Hang on. I have my for dramatic effect.
Yum,
Donkeys.
yum. Yum, yum.
Home of these best cheesesteaks in New Jersey, actually in the world. Anthony Bourdain even says so. So yeah. Okay. The late great Anthony Bourdain. They have locations in Camden, in Medford, and in Mount Holly, New Jersey. So make sure you stop by. Tell them the Our Turf ladies sent you. If you can't stop by and you're in the contiguous 48 states, like my use of the word contiguous, go to goldbelly.com, search for Donkey's Place.
Donkeys.
And get it delivered to you so that you can have it nice and fresh for you. Maybe do something different on Christmas Eve this year or even Christmas. You never know. Hi, guys. How are you today? Everybody's looking down. Must be something important.
I was looking at that.
I'm on my phone, girl.
You know how we all do.
Before we talk football, can I just say, I love that we do our football podcast on Tuesdays. I think we need a Thursday podcast to get a farm update from Lisa. Because it's been goat and gators and hurricanes and we literally had a fox in her henhouse.
Yes, I did.
Literally,
I have fox problems.
She got fox problems. Girl, I want a whole Thursday. I want a half hour on Thursdays to just, Lisa, when we moved up there and got a farm, I did not think your life would become this much more complicated. It is hilarious for us because we're not involved in it. But,
right, exactly.
But the fox incident this week was just the end of it. I was dying. I was just dying. I'm like, girl. Good evening, Graham. Howdy to the chatters.
Everybody's in.
Everybody's on the Twitters or on Facebook.
Stop.
Jump on over to YouTube because on YouTube you can put comments in the chat and we will see them, respond to them. We might put them on screen and we can interact with you. We can't see comments from the other platforms until after the show's over and we go back and look. But we can interact with you live right now if you join us on our YouTube channel.
And you can ask us questions and stuff like that. Like I want to ask Sonia, how about that Florida A&M game, huh?
Girl.
So you got to tell us about that. And how in the world did Michelle? You got to tell us the Michelle Jinx thing. What's is she alumni? I mean, you got to tell me what because she was hanging out. Yeah, she was hanging out with Cam Newton on the sideline.
Right, I'm like hanging out with Cam Newton. I'm like, that girl's awesome.
So
I don't know how Michelle. I don't know how Michelle does what she does, but she does it. But yes, I got to go to the Celebration Bowl. Shout out to everybody who came on our live to chat with me. It was so much fun. I went to Radio Row on Friday and I got to talk to some of the players. I talked to some of the Howard players. I talked to the defensive MVP from FAMU, Isaiah Mixon. I see you, brother. I see you. Oh my gosh. How amazing was he? We saw you. No, it was a lot of fun. The kids were just really good, just really excited to be there. I got to meet the athletic director of FAMU, a female. I got to meet the commissioner of the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Nice. Again, another female. So that was just so empowering, just so wonderful to see.
Right.
Just 4 women on a podcast, and they both were like, "Oh yes, we got to know about this. We got to come on." Nice. So it was excellent, and I just realized that I followed the athletic director from FAMU, Tiffany. I followed her for a long time, and I was like, wait a second. I think, yeah. So it's really kind of cool. I got to talk to the coaches. That was really great because Michelle said it wasn't the head coaches because they wanted to try and get other coaches in, which was awesome. I got to talk to Florida's FAMU's special teams coach. Great. And we talked about kickers having one job, and they do just have one job, but they do it so well. Yeah, I didn't realize, and I mean, I don't know why I didn't realize, but kickers are on a kick count, much like pitchers are on a pitch count. Kickers are on a kick count. I don't know why that never clicked, but yeah, they're on a kick count. I thought that was kind of cool. So Kate's looking really like, very impressive.
I don't know why they need a kick count, but that's just
how you put it. I don't know how you put them on a kick count. There's only one of them on the roster.
I know, right?
Well, in the NFL, yes, but in college, there's several. So leave them alone.
Fair.
Okay,
Fair.
that's true. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So we talked about that. Got to meet with both offensive coordinators. We talked about your love of football, or your love of quarterbacks, Lisa. Everybody was really excited about that. They were like, yep, they are the best. And, FAMU's quarterback was really good. He kind of came alive. He came alive. He threw some nice balls towards the end of that game, and it was really, really good. So lots of fun. The game was great. Vice President Kamala Harris was there. It was just a lot of fun. I'm so glad that we got to go. I'm so glad that we were there. The vibes in the press box were immaculate. It was just like a lot of fun. It was just like being at a college game. It was just so much fun. And not that at NFL games it's different, but it's a little bit more formal because it's the NFL. But this was college, and this was just a lot of fun. I was joking with a lot of the guys that were in the press box. Just a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a great game. It was a great game to start with. Florida State FAMU was known for their defense, and it was like, okay, where's this defense coming? But all of a sudden, a couple of interceptions, and the defense really made the offense get going, and it was just really, really good. Good game. Very good game.
You did an awesome job. It was great.
Right.
And how exciting for our turf to be involved in that side of the ball now. And we always have been. We've always talked about, having a college show, which hopefully we can get that off the ground next year. It would be, I'm all for it. Because like I said,
I did to go on assignment more often than the college football.
Exactly. Right. And it's like you said, I think once you get, because honestly, I think you and I, all of us have talked about it. And I'm sure we'll talk about it some in the show. NFL is getting hard to watch, and they're spreading it out more. I'm struggling. I'm like, give me a good old college rivalry game any day of the week over what's going on out here right now.
Exactly. But yeah, I think, like I was telling people, I was like, we're really trying to get into college football, and I think this was a really great way to get our first foray into it. So yeah, I think that we can definitely come up with something.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can talk off screen about that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to go to the next one. I told everybody's like, I'm there next year. Just count me in. I'm there. Our turf will be there.
If you go to the Our Turf, for those of you watching, if you go to the Our Turf Twitter account and just go back to our tweets, scroll back to the last couple days, you can see a lot of the video that Sonia posted from her time down there and stuff. So you can kind of catch up with some of the stuff that we're talking about here today. I would like to point out, ladies, that I'm drinking out of my Victory Monday cup, even though it's Tuesday, because I'm pretty sure for the second time this season, all 4 of our teams won this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
I didn't think it was going to happen because I'm going to tell you, I didn't give the Seahawks a prayer last night.
I didn't either.
Was I wrong?
Oh my God, I loved it. And like I said, I was so excited. And then you guys were like, well, did you treat the first quarter? Well, yeah, I was sitting at Beef O'Brady's after the laundromat. I said it went right through. And you're just like, and then Kate's like, well, I'm going to bed. I was like, wait, I did that. And I went back. It wasn't there. And I'm like, well, damn. All right. Then third quarter went. I'm like, okay, saw that. Halftime went. I saw that. Final. I was so excited. I texted, put it on there. Y'all put it on there. Seahawks won, by the way. And I put it on there. Final. And then I text you guys. I was like, I finally got a great game. I finally got a great game. It was exciting. I was like, what a great game. It was a good game.
It was a very good game.
Yeah, and then I wake up this morning and I'm like, did nobody post a final? And she's like, I sent it.
I sent it.
Text messages from you. I knew you watched.
Sure. Yeah, I watched it. I was great. Like I said, I had it all ready to go too.
Challenges crack me up.
I just this farm technology. I'm telling you, because I was home by then, kicking back. You know, Fox was out in the woods where she belonged, and I was like, this is good.
It was good. That was a very good game. I was surprised. I don't know if the Eagles are melting down or if, I won't say that they're melting down, but maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe are they starting to
I think teams are figuring them out.
Yes.
We saw a little bit of that, I think, an example of that this weekend in the Dallas-Buffalo game. Buffalo figured out very early what a lot of teams should have realized by now is Dallas's defense is built for the pass. It is not built for the run. And Josh Allen barely threw that football line because he didn't have to. Because they just kept running the ball, and Dallas couldn't stop them. And I think teams are figuring – so you get two things. I think teams are figuring the Eagles out.
Yes.
But I also think the Seahawks got off to a really rough start. In the last 3-4 weeks, they have just upped their game, even without Geno this week. Lisa, I know you're not a fan of Geno.
Well,
when I heard Drew Lock was starting at 20 minutes till they announced Drew Lock was starting, and it was probably my favorite moment in the Manning cast because Peyton said they should just ask Adam Schefter who's going to start. He knew I was getting traded before I did, or he knows people are getting cut. Christian McCaffrey said he knew I was getting traded before I did, and Peyton's like, yeah, he knew I was getting cut before I did. Apparently, nobody knew Drew Lock was starting, including Drew Lock, until 20 minutes.
He said after he didn't even know. He didn't even know.
So I didn't give the Seahawks much of a chance. I'll be honest with you. And so I thought they did a really nice job. They stayed in that game, and maybe that's part of the magic of Pete Carroll is that team plays 60 minutes of football. They don't give up. They don't think they're out. I've seen a lot of teams that would have just given up facing the Eagles and down, 17-7 at one point.
Yeah.
Seattle never 10 points in the fourth quarter, never gave up on anything. And I got to applaud them for that. I think they're getting better. I don't think it makes the Eagles any less great. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. So I don't know that they're really coming down, but I do think teams are figuring them out a little bit. But I just think Seattle's they kind of got something going on. We'll talk a little bit about my Browns, kind of like my Browns do. I don't expect them to win, and yet they're finding ways to win. And Seattle's gutting through and finding ways to win. They're on a nice little streak here.
They are. They're on a very good streak. And I think that's good for them. That's very good for them, especially, it's a good time to win because nobody really expects them to. So now
and you wonder if that's not half it. And you wonder if that's not it too. Cause it's like you said, you're 7-7, you're playing the Eagles, which, it's a pretty good team. The Seattle Seahawks just started running the ball. And I think that's because it was raining, and it's hard because, we get all these filters on TV where it looks like it's, clear and everything like that. And then you go to get the sideline games and you see the rain coming down. So I think weather was a little bit of a factor for Jalen. What I want to know is why they went away from Jalen running. I mean, he was tearing them up in the first quarter. Then all of a sudden they started keeping him in the pocket, trying to run the ball. It's almost like they tried to establish the run late in the third and fourth quarter where you abandoned things that were working. And then to me, they panicked a little, started kind of, it was kind of getting closer, like Kate said, all of a sudden Seattle started running the ball, and that opened up some things. And I was a little worried about Drew because, like I said, he's got a great arm, and he tends to overthrow a little bit. And some of those catches, you got Seattle wide receivers are stout. I mean, that was crazy. And once again, we had close calls. How they tiptoe those sidelines is amazing. And it's a game of inches. I mean, just a couple calls, but I think it was funny. You saw Kelsey's antics about him moving the ball. It was 3rd and 1. He moved the ball like a yard up, and they caught him. It's like, come on, that's obviously an old school trick, and they were watching that. So, but I just thought, like I said, I think Seattle played a good game, but then again, I think Seattle just said, hey, let's just do it. Let's go. And they just started going, and the Eagles are reeling a little bit right now. So, so hopefully we won't have the curse.
The underdog team has won the last 7 Monday Night Footballs.
Yeah, the Monday nights have actually been pretty good this year.
Right.
Very good this year. And I like an underdog story. I like Seattle beating the Eagles. My problem is it just makes the playoff picture an even bigger mess.
Yes.
So in the NFC, you've got the 49ers and the Cowboys who have clinched their division.
Yes.
You have the Lions who are leading their division. I don't think you've clinched it yet.
No, we still have 2 games with the Vikings. They still have 2 games.
Right. And the Buccaneers are winning their division at 7-7. The Eagles are on the cusp at 10-4. They'll figure themselves out. But you've got the Buccaneers at 7-7 winning that division. Then the Vikings, Rams, Seahawks, and Saints are all 7-7. They can't all get in.
No.
Nope.
2 of them will. And it'll probably be division winners.
Oh, and it's
That's
funny if you see the playoff scenarios for this weekend. You know, you have several teams that can clinch this weekend. You have several teams that can, I mean, just make the playoffs, not clinch, guys, just make the playoffs. Like you said, there's divisions still up. There's a division in the AFC that's going to go to the last game. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be the AFC East. That game in Miami is going to be for the AFC East. They are setting this up perfectly for that game. And I would not be surprised if that game doesn't get flexed within the next week, because that is going to be a beast of a game. They got a lot of games coming. Like you said, that the last games are divisional games. Everybody plays a divisional opponent.
The Browns play the Bengals the last week, and it's sitting at there's a whole bunch of games right now sitting at TBD on the schedule because they're waiting to see which one's going to matter to get flexed.
Right.
We have a better record than the Bengals now, but we're only up on them by 1 game, and we beat them the last time we played them. So.
Which
depending
is crazy
on what happens with records, if you get down to that last week, there are at least 3 games the last week that could decide not only divisions, but knocking either you win the division or you're out of the playoffs.
Right.
It's not you get a wild card. It's because of the way the wild cards are. You win the division or you're out.
Exactly.
And a lot of these AFC teams are playing with backup quarterbacks. Which is crazy. I mean, because when you look like the Bengals right now with UK, you're battling the Bengals. It's like when Joe Burrow went out, I'd have never thought you'd be battling the Bengals.
I didn't either, but Browning's doing a very nice job. So in the AFC North, the Ravens at 11-3 are on their same starting quarterback that they've had all year.
Right.
The Browns are on their 4th starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. The Bengals are on their 2nd, and the Steelers are on their 2nd because Pickett's out and Trubisky's in.
Yep.
So it kind of makes sense why the Ravens are 11-3.
No.
Yeah, Rudolph came in. Rudolph came in.
Mason Rudolph.
I don't know what his name is.
Rudolph came in.
Yeah.
It amazes me that even with backup quarterbacks, the Browns are 9-5, the Bengals are 8-6, the Steelers are 7-7. Like the team are still winning games with backup quarterbacks. And I think you'd probably see a similar thing, Sonia, in your division in the NFC North, because I think both of the North divisions focus a lot on defense and running the game because of the weather conditions. And so I think they have it a little easier time if they have to go to a backup quarterback, just because there are other aspects of their game that play into how they do things. But Lisa, this is all going to come down to you and who is your competition in that division?
The Bills.
The Bills.
I know.
Let's talk about the Bills. Can we talk about the Bills for a minute?
Yes, let's talk about the Bills.
Not to say the Patriots and not to say the Jets.
Let's talk about the Patriots and the Cowboys. We should talk about the Patriots and the Cowboys.
We should
talk about how amazing the Ravens and the Bills are. In fact, they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I don't even know why any other team even plays. They're going to be awesome. And this is my way of trying to enact the Archer football jinx. Because every time we talk about a really good team, they lose. And so I guess that puts me on the naughty list.
Never mind. Yeah, it does. It gets you on the naughty list, but we're trying to see if this is for reals. I
mean, the AFC picture is a little better than the NFC. I mean, in the NFC, literally, there are 6 teams at 7-7 who could win a couple more games and get to the playoffs. In the AFC, you've got the Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, and Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is in concussion protocol. Don't know what that means for him. They're 8-6, but they're winning their division. The Browns at 9-5, Bengals at 8-6, Colts. So Bengals, Colts, Texans, and Bills are all 8-6. And so there's a whole lot of juggling that can go on in the next 3 weeks. And it's going to come down to the division matchups in that very last week of the year.
Yep. That's what's going to come down to. That's
Well, at
what
least
it's
there's
That
less
seems
teams
to come down
that-
to.
That and seeds, because like I said, you have a monster game on Christmas with the Ravens and the 49ers, and that's going to be that's not going to be. I'm going to tell you, both teams are going to make the playoffs. I already know that, but that's going to be a seed game. That because they want home field,
And
so,
home field matters. I think this year, for sure, looking at the teams that are in the top and have a chance at home field matters. And so for those fantasy football players who worry about things like week 16 and 17, where the starters are sitting and resting and getting ready, they're going to be playing full out these last couple weeks because they're trying to get into the playoffs and then they're trying to get home field. And so that's good news for fantasy players. I'm in a league where the playoffs started this past week. And then in the Archer League, it starts this week. Graham, we know you're the number 1 seed in the Archer Fantasy Fan League. Good luck to you with that.
Best of luck.
Good luck to you with that. I've been the number 1 seed and lost. I'm in the consolation game in my league with the playoffs, and I outscored everyone in the league this week because, of course, people are getting injuries now and they don't know what to do with it. And my team has been so beaten up all year. I lost Madison. I picked up Chandler. I did all of that stuff the last 4 weeks, but it wasn't enough to get me into the playoffs. I will be in the playoffs in our fantasy league. I think I'm a 3rd or 4th seed. But it makes me feel better knowing that some of these really good teams with these good players that are on my roster win the next couple weeks, so that
you got
there's
that.
nothing worse than having a guy get you through the whole season, and then when you get to your fantasy playoffs, they decide to rest him.
That's the sad part.
had to make sure that wasn't breaking news.
I'm predicting will not play this week.
Who
So
won't play this week?
I don't think he'll play this week. Jamar Chase, wide receiver for the Bengals.
Oh, probably not.
He's pretty banged up. I think they're going to rest him this week because if they do want to, they're still in the playoff hunt. And if they want to get there, they're going to need him against Cleveland for sure. And so, sorry, fantasy owners, if you got Jamar Chase, you already lost Joe Burrow. I had them both in one league because why not double up on those points?
Seriously, I've done that.
Yeah, I did it too.
That running game in Buffalo, Josh Allen did not do any fantasy owners any favors this weekend with all of the handing off and passing they did, but it got him a win. So,
Oh my gosh, this dude. His players have horrible mashups. Graham.
I might go full Dallas and be great in the regular season and choke in the playoff.
Yeah, we always got to talk about Dallas. We got to talk about Dallas.
We do.
We have to talk about Dallas. We have to talk about the Vikings.
We have to talk about Dallas, and all I heard yesterday were complaints about the officiating, and I'm like, I watched the Buffalo Bills run that ball down your throat for 4 quarters. That has nothing to do with officiating. You don't like the officiating? Take them out of it. Stop the run.
There you go. That's
The Chiefs are still so salty.
You don't get a first down. You don't get to keep the ball. It's just that.
The Chiefs are still so salty. Holy cow. I mean, that wide receiver just won't shut up. And I just want to get him on TV or tweet to him and say, like, how many balls did you drop that day? I mean, there's fans.
He dropped this week. He dropped into a defender's hand for an interception.
Well, they want him benched. There's people in Kansas City that want him benched. Then there's analysts on the radio and TV that said they'd cut him.
Wow.
I mean,
one of the problems in those cities where they've had a lot of success recently.
Yes,
is they get a little bit full of themselves. And they get a little bit of attitude. We complain in Cleveland a lot about players when they're underperforming, but not like that.
Yeah,
no. And I don't think the Chiefs expected that.
The Patriots fans used to do stuff like that. Steelers fans do stuff like that. There are certain fan bases and their local media personalities who think it's okay to go full Patriots on people and be like, I'm the general manager of this team, and I don't like what you said on Twitter and Instagram, so you need to be benched, and you dropped the ball. You need to be benched.
No.
Stop.
Come back to
I would bench him. Stop it. Go. Stupid cat. God, cat scratch me. I would bench him. I mean, I'd sit him down. I would sit him down. I wouldn't cut him. I wouldn't go that extreme. But I'd make a statement. I would, he needs to sit a game because I think that was the whole purpose of the Kansas City. I think they thought they would bring their young wide receivers along, and it just hasn't panned out for him. And you can see the frustration on Patrick Mahomes' face. You can see the aggravation. He just has nobody to go to. He has
Right.
no faith in those receivers whatsoever, and continuous every single game. He lets them down every game, like you said, right in his hands, right into the defenders. I don't know if it's in his head. The kid needs to sit down a game. I'd put him on the bench for a game.
But I don't know why Mahomes doesn't just go to Travis Kelce on every throw, because frankly, defenses still aren't double teaming him. They're still not giving him the attention he should be getting, and he's wide open way too often. So I'd make him pay for it. But
That's what I would do too.
Look at me worried about Kansas City not making the playoffs.
Hey, it's a hard fall. It's a hard fall.
It'd be a shame not to see that elite quarterback in the playoffs.
I think they're still going to win their division, so they'll get there. They just won't be the number 1 seed, and they won't get a bye.
Which it just seems like it just pisses him off. I mean, like I said, you can see it in his face. I mean, he's not the same quarterback that was just nonchalantly. It's telling on his face.
But definitely does that, right? How many of these quarterbacks have we seen? Trevor Lawrence for me is a perfect example of a quarterback who didn't lose a game in high school or college. And then he gets to the pros, and with the Jags, those first couple of years were rough, but he maintained his cool, he maintained his poise, he maintained his leadership. He is still the best man in that locker room, injured or not. He is still, and so his character comes through when he's facing adversity. And some of these quarterbacks that have never faced adversity before, now you're starting to see some of the little kind of diva, spoiled brat attitude. And it's like, oh, that's not a good look on you. Yeah. I wish we had social media 20 years ago, because I'd love to see what some of those quarterbacks would have been saying on social media about things. I know we're close on time. I wanted to talk to you girls just a little bit about officiating. I know we've talked about officiating on the show the last few weeks.
Yeah. Bill
Cowher actually made some remarks about the fact that Myles Garrett was getting held on almost every play this week, and it wasn't getting called, and how bad the officiating has been in a lot of instances. It's still going on, and I feel like even though you've got Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and Myles Garrett all getting fined for the comments they're making, and Roger Goodell saying, you can't talk about officiating that way, you'd think in the back room the officials would be going, guys, we got to get better. We can't keep giving them reasons to criticize us. And instead, it feels like they're like, we're not changing anything. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, and nothing has changed, and it's still not good.
Well, to me, it seems every year we have an emphasis on something. It's either roughing the quarterback, because I'm going to be very honest with you. I said this at the beginning of the year after a couple games. They've eased up on the pass interference. They're letting them play a little bit. I personally love that. Going both ways. I'm loving it. Let them jockey a little bit instead of just, pass interference. Right. I love that. The emphasis for me is that damn offsides. It seems, because in the Miami Dolphin game, there was the ref came up to I think it was Robbie Chosen, and he went up on the line, and the ref went back up a little bit. That is what set Mahomes off, because that's kind of a courtesy that a lot of them have always said, like, hey, back up a little bit. They're not doing that this year. If they're not, some of the older refs, I think, are. So I think that's what they need to kind of back up on. It's like, okay, let's go back to at least the courtesy or something, like, hey, back up off the line, or have it. My question to you guys is, how don't you know you're freaking offsides? I don't know. The ball, for Christ's sakes. I mean, don't lean 5 miles into the line, into the neutral zone.
And that's what I think it is. It's that Jason Kelce crap. It's that they give you the ball, you set your feet, and then you lean forward. You are now in the neutral zone, my friend.
Yep.
Yes.
What confuses me is I've seen it called on a couple centers this week and last week who picked their head up to look back at the quarterback, and the ref threw the flag. Like, nobody else moved. He was just going to act it and then get reset.
Especially in a loud stadium.
There was one last night. Yeah, there was one in either week 2 or 3 that cracked me up, because when they blew the flag, the official said the penalty on the offense, offsides, everyone but the center, because everyone moved but the center. And I'm like, doesn't the center have to snap the ball? Like, how? There was an interesting stat on one of the broadcasts that said they called offsides 3 times in the 2022 season and 11 times in the
Yes,
last
that's
season.
what I was just about to look up.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
all
That's
that-
the emphasis.
And it's like, oh,
Yep.
you're right, Lisa. This is what they're focusing on this year.
Mhm.
But it
Yep.
used to be a courtesy, and I understand where the players are coming from. It used to be a courtesy thing where, like, they would look to the official that's there, and he
And
would
you
give
go
them
back
a,
up. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
he would give them a signal because he's standing on the line,
Mhm. It's like,
and he
back
would
up a
let
little
them
bit. Yep.
know. And then they move into the line, and it's a game of inches, right?
Yeah. And it's like I said, I feel like that they sit down every year and they
pick
focus
something.
on one thing. Like, look, we this has been happening. We're gonna. It seems so new school because it's kind of stupid. It's like go
Do you
back to the
think- Do you
So-
think it's a preemptive thing regarding the tush push? Because when I watch them Eagles do that tush push and I watch the way they get lined up, they're all like leaning over the line, like their
Mhm.
feet are behind
They
the
are.
line, but you can see what they're about to do. And I wonder if
Get
this
way low.
we're
way
going to
low and
start with
comfortable.
the offside. There's going to be a trough down the middle of the field in the neutral zone, and you're not putting your head in it. At some point, I can see them taking the ball when they give it to him and actually moving it back 6 inches so they can get that leverage they want to lean forward. I don't know how they make it illegal because to me, it's so close to a quarterback sneak,
Right.
which they've been doing forever. They just do it really well, and they gave it its own name. I don't know how you make it illegal, but I'm wondering if the offsides is just trying to keep them from getting that lean.
That last little bit in. Interesting.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
Well, with
Ladies?
me though, is I still think the same thing though. If you're going to make that legal, which obviously Roger came out and said that he has no intention of doing anything, to me, then you back off the roughing the passer. You're rough. You need to stop this bull crap of them just hitting the ground and throwing a flag because you're shoving that dude into freaking a whole line of men trying to kill him. But yet we're
Josh
we're
Allen got
tapping
away
on the
with one of
shoulder.
those this weekend. He took a hit and was complaining to the ref that he got hit in the head, and they threw the flag, and then they showed the replay, and Jude wasn't anywhere near his head.
That's
Like,
ridiculous. They got to
acting.
stop that. They got to stop that.
They
Crap.
focused on flopping in the NBA and
The flopping
got rid
was
of that.
ridiculous.
And this is
Some
the
of them
same
were
thing to me. These quarterbacks are flopping to get that penalty.
Yeah.
Some team has a defensive coordinator who will spend the entire offseason trying to figure out a way to combat the tush push from the defensive side.
for
And
sure.
whoever can figure it out first is going to be a
Not
genius.
Flop Allen.
There's
Ray
always
Allen's
Flop
cousin.
Allen.
Flop Allen.
There's a way to combat it that someone just has to figure it out.
Yep.
They will.
All right, ladies. We got to wrap it up because it's going to be a quick show today. Wrap it up. But thank y'all so much.
She's
She's going back on the nice. She's going back on the nice
I'm
list now.
nice. I'm naughty.
Okay, so we
nice.
covered
Won
the
Five
Vikings,
Bowl this week. Oh,
Cowboys,
Dallas.
Chiefs,
I mean Miami.
Ravens,
No.
Chiefs.
Cowboys.
Aaron
Cowboys.
Rodgers is still 3 or 4 weeks away from being completely medically healthy, so he won't be able to play this year.
Who? Oh my! I am so shocked. I did not see this coming.
I feel bad for the Jets as a team, and I thought it would be nice if he could play a couple games just to get a little bit of the rust off and give them a little something positive to take into the offseason. No. Hard Knocks jinx rears its ugly head again.
Yep, exactly.
Mhm.
Well,
All right. What haven't we talked about? Oh, didn't we get it? Coach got fired Monday. Who got fired?
Brandon
got
Staley.
Brandon Staley got fired.
oh yes,
Had a lot
that's
of
right.
coach firings this year.
He
I
got
think in
fired
the
at
offseason-
halftime per reports.
Maybe next week we'll start our list of who's been fired and
That's what I was gonna
when
say.
we're going to see the
Who's on the
hiring
hot
start.
Yeah,
When we're
Who's
going
on
to
the
see the
hot
hiring start.
yeah,
that'll be coming up
they
here
had that
pretty
dude.
quick.
They had that dude fired at halftime, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I ain't
They're
lying.
like
Every
emails
single
ready to
analysis
go.
said he's done. Richard Sherman said, I wouldn't even let him out of the locker room.
And guess what? They didn't. Oh goodness.
Who's winning
and
this
he's
week?
a good
Miami or
guy.
Dallas?
He's a good guy, he's just a coordinator that's a good coordinator that just is not a head coach material.
He
Yeah.
needs to stay in his lane.
Yep, stay in your lane.
We talked about a lot of it. Nathaniel Hackett, terrible head coach, halfway decent offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Stay in your lane, dude.
I have the Cowboys. Who do you got?
I have Miami.
I have Miami.
Okay.
I have Miami.
Because I feel like when the Cowboys lose,
Oh, sorry, you're right. I have the Cowboys.
Yes.
Cowboys on a
Oh,
landslide.
Cowboys winning all day long. They're
Good
bouncing
God,
back
you're trying
from
to
the
kill me.
Buffalo loss.
Yep, they're
I
coming back.
forgot the premise of the show today. My bad.
All right, you guys. Well, next
Yeah,
week we're
wrap
going
it
to see how efficient we were with our jinxes. So go Cowboys. Go Cowboys. All right, you guys.
They're gonna the rally.
Yes. Well, we'll see you next week. And yes, they haven't won an Aquatops this year. So no, yep, Cowboys are gonna win. Cowboys are gonna take it.
There you go. Statistical facts.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Well, we'll see you next week. And yeah, all that good stuff. So it'll
Thank
be
you, everybody that joined us in the chat. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, Graham.